This video is basically an open letter to the Chipspeech fandom, but more particularly to the people that made announcements about me and said things about me, like Hebito Netsu, Lepus Music, Chiploiter, and so on. I know what you're thinking. Please, don't click away, just hear me out. This video is not going to be like what you're thinking at all. It's sort of an apology video, but not quite. You'll see what I mean later on. To say I'm a controversial figure in the Chipspeech community would be an understatement. My discovering Chipspeech came at a very unfortunate time. After political turmoil in the United States came to a fever pitch in 2020 with the onset of COVID, I just found myself becoming extremely bitter and angsty, and that boiled over into my activity on Tumblr. When I made those political posts on my main blog so long ago, what started this whole incident, I was doing it just to piss people off, and as an act of defiance more than out of any desire to express honest opinions. I was doing it to get revenge on the people that believed I shouldn't feel that way, and on the people who had bullied me in the past. I was doing it specifically to start fights and be controversial. I wasn't exactly trolling, but rather just purposely provoking people. Nowhere is that more apparent than on my political blog, Hail Parsec 001, where I made it sort of a game in my mind to fight with people online. I referred to getting in heated arguments with people as doing battle, and I viewed myself as some kind of righteous warrior, fighting for my honor. Cringe, I know. I was lashing out and being edgy because it made me feel like I actually had some power and that I was badass. I was determined to prove to the world, and mostly to myself, that I wasn't a coward, that I was a fierce berserker warrior who could win any fight I got into, be it a battle of wits or a battle with fists. I was really compensating for something, for my anxiety, for feeling like I had no control over my life, for feeling like a loser who couldn't accomplish anything. Along with all the stress of the whole COVID thing and the political polarization, it was really easy for me to fall into that kind of black and white thinking method of, if you're not with us, you're against us. It was really easy for me to jump onto the bandwagon of bashing people who didn't agree with me just so I could look better to everyone who did. What I didn't really understand is that doing so basically alienates everyone who isn't looking to fight, who doesn't like drama. It alienates the people who are apolitical or more moderate. As a result, people who otherwise liked me or didn't know about me were afraid of doing something to incite my uncontrolled anger on accident. I was more of a time bomb than a fierce warrior, and there's no reasoning with a bomb. That's what I became known for, both on Tumblr and in the Chipspeech community across all platforms, for being a spiteful, angry, easily irritated bitch. I was defined by my anger and my antagonistic attitude towards people who didn't agree with me. That wasn't what I wanted at all. I had, and still struggle with, anger issues, and managing my temper, issues which are probably rooted in my being autistic. I just wanted to clarify, I'm not using my being on the autism spectrum as an excuse for my immature, rude, and just plain cringy behavior. I'm just trying to tell you the full story here. I still don't really understand how interacting with people works and just end up getting in over my head. When the whole incident happened and I saw all the things everyone was saying about me, it just made me that much more bitter. I was really hurt by people I admired and looked up to, like Hebito Netsu, blocking and scorning me. I was really hurt by being made a pariah and pushed out of my special interest. I had nobody to talk to for a while, and I was obsessed with Chipspeech. Still am, honestly. All this love for Chipspeech and creativity and no outlet to put it into. That just made me more bitter and more disillusioned and took a toll on my already fragile mental state. It was just a vicious cycle that showed no signs of stopping. I really didn't handle this situation well. I made countless posts and memes expressing my displeasure and how upset I was at the community for shutting me out. I railed against everybody and pointed fingers and called them petty and immature, not realizing that I was being extremely petty and immature myself. You know that saying, remove the log from your eye before pointing out the splinter in your neighbor's? That kind of applies here, I think. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore, guys. I'm incredibly sorry for the behavior I displayed, and I don't know the words to articulate just how much I regret what I said and did about the situation. I know I have some really controversial opinions, and I also realize now that when you have controversial opinions, you have to tread carefully. If you want to make any friends, you have to avoid pissing people off for the sake of pissing them off, because in their minds, they could be next on your shit list. I now realize that's what happened with me. I made everyone think I would relentlessly bully them next if they made any wrong moves, and that's not what I wanted to happen at all. I just wanted to show anyone who would otherwise bully me themselves that I wasn't a coward, and I wouldn't just roll over and take my daily beating. I never intended to cause so much pain and stress. I never intended to disrupt an otherwise good, strong community. I just wanted to talk about robots and express my appreciation for everyone's work, but completely forgot about all the baggage I was bringing with me. I know that you'll disagree with me on my political opinions. That's completely okay. My best friend in real life is a liberal and has many of the same opinions as you guys do. I've made friends with countless very sweet liberals or otherwise left-leaning people. We don't discuss politics, and we don't see each other as liberal or right-winger. We just see each other as the people we are. And that's really how I treat everyone. I don't care much for labels like leftist, rightist, straight, gay, trans, non-binary, atheist, Christian, Muslim, or whatever. None of that matters. Those are all characteristics that don't have any real weight at the end of the day. All that matters is whether or not you're a good person. I prefer to, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, judge people not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I don't judge people by the color of their skin, who they're attracted to, who they vote for, their religion, what pronouns they want you to use to refer to them. None of that matters. I just think of you as a person and want to get to know you based on your soul, who you really are, past all the labels, your hopes and dreams, the things you're passionate about, and how you treat other people. That's what really matters. I'm not a TERF or a transphobe or a white supremacist or a Nazi or any of that. All of those things would require me to hate people based on characteristics they can't control. And believe me, being plus size, bisexual, and autistic, I understand what it's like to be bullied based on characteristics I can't control. I would rather be tortured for 1,000 years than make someone endure the things I've been through. I have nothing but contempt for actual neo-Nazis and homophobes, and the idea that I've somehow made people think that's what I am fills me with shame. I like to think of political disputes, in most but not all circumstances, as like two mechanics arguing over how to fix a car. Both agree that the car isn't working properly and that they want to get it fixed. But one of the mechanics only knows how to work on old Eastern European gas-powered cars, while the other only knows how to work on brand new Japanese electric cars. They both think the other one is doing it wrong, and end up getting in each other's way or even making the whole situation worse, like dropping a screw into the combustion chamber, snapping the dipstick while trying to get it out, or breaking the cap on the coolant tank. But at the end of the day, those mechanics should be able to put aside their differences, forget about the damn car for a while, and go to the bar together to have drinks after work. Chipspeech is our bar. I don't want to talk about politics and argue about them with you. I just want to talk about Chipspeech and speech synthesis in general. It's a fun escape from politics for me. I'm so sick of being constantly bombarded with political stuff and people fighting. It's unbelievably exhausting. I just want to get along. Who cares if we don't agree about the way the country should be run? I want to put aside all the disagreements and be very mature about this. I want to look for common ground. And we're all Chipspeech fans. That should bring us together, not divide us. I, for one, want to talk about Chipspeech with everyone who likes it, regardless of what they believe. I'm not going to force you to take the political compass test and you have to land in the middle of X quadrant to interact with me. All that matters for me is, 1, you also like Chipspeech, and 2, you're a pleasant person to talk to. I understand that my portrayal of the characters, particularly of Dee and Pedro, was a point of contention. I understand that my calling Dee she and Pedro he didn't exactly go over well. and I can kinda understand why. You feel like I'm disrespecting them, and perhaps even disrespecting non-binary people in general. But I'd like to just take a second to put Pedro and D aside because they're not real. We'll talk about Pedro and D in a little while. You can talk shit about them all day, call them all kinds of horrible names, and they can't get upset or offended about it because they're fictional characters. I understand liking these characters a lot, and I do too. As for real non-binary people who actually exist, if you're a sweet, kind person, I'll do my best to refer to you as you'd like me to. I'll probably screw up though, and I'm sorry if I do, but it's not done out of malice, it's just done because I don't fully understand the concept. I mean, I'm 22 and I was raised by conservative Christians, one being a baby boomer and the other being a Gen X country boy. I'm probably never gonna fully get it. But that doesn't mean I can't be kind to you, which I will do until my last breath. I've made friends with plenty of non-binary people who want to be called they. Those people understood where I was coming from, and I understood where they were coming from. We would often meet in the middle. A common compromise was for me to avoid using pronouns entirely and refer to them by their names if I had to talk about them in the third person. Or for me to try and call them they, but they would still be understanding and mostly ignore it if I called them he or she. Understanding it wasn't me trying to insult them, but rather just a difference of worldviews. People don't even see colors the same way. There's some people who see certain colors more strongly than others. Colorblind people. There's so many different ways people can see colors. And politics and genders and things like that are way more complex than color. Something like that has even more possible ways to look at it. My non-binary friends got to know me and realized I'm not as bad of a person as I might seem like. I've talked to people who did drugs, people who spent thousands of dollars on limited edition collectibles or DLC in video games, people who go out partying every night and have one-night stands every time, people who smoke cigarettes, all kinds of things I disagree with and would never do. Just because I don't understand or agree with your decisions and worldview doesn't mean I can't still like you as a person. It's not up to me to judge you for what you've done. I might have done the same thing if I'd been in your circumstances and lived the life you've lived. On the other hand, if you're a jerk to me about the whole thing and yell at me and call me names over it, my old approach was just to yell back at you and call you delusional or worse. My new approach, though, is to just stop interacting with you because it's pretty clear that you're a hot-headed individual and you like to pick fights, and life's too short for that kind of negativity. I don't want to bring negativity on my friends or on innocent bystanders. Anyway though, back to Pedro and D. My personal belief is that fandoms can function their best when everyone can have their own portrayal of the characters. That was one of the things I loved the most about being in the Cars and Living Machines fandom. Everyone humanized the characters in different ways, and it was so cool to see what they did with these characters. Think about the Vocaloids. How many different ways are they portrayed? There are popular things in the fandom, but it's more of a suggestion for them. You don't have to adhere to those. You can basically do whatever you want. I see Chipspeech in much the same way. We have general premises and stuff that's commonly agreed upon in the fandom, but you don't have to adhere to it. That's why there's a lot of stuff I do with the chips that I don't see a lot of other people doing, such as dressing D in a sci-fi style bodysuit instead of a sweater or button-down shirt, giving Bert emo hair, making Spencer's EMP powers purple light, making Cybertalk's arms a removable backpack-type device that wirelessly syncs with his brain instead of actually attached to his body, giving Lady Parsec a headdress or crown-looking thing, and coming up with rather unusual color schemes for most of the characters. I think pronouns, sexuality, genders, etc. for the characters should be the same way. I've got one friend who refers to all the characters as they, for an example of this. It's really no different than any other headcanon in my honest opinion. You don't have to like my interpretations of the characters or agree with them. You can think my interpretations are stupid and extremely out of character, and that's perfectly valid and okay. That's the beautiful thing about headcanons. You can just come up with your own and do whatever you want with fictional characters. You don't have to just pick someone else's and stick with it unless you really like what they came up with. If you've listened to all this, thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving me your time. All this is to say, you don't have to like me or be my friend. I'm not asking for everybody to like me and be my friend. I'm just asking for a second chance because I am, in fact, a changed woman. I'm asking to bury the hatchet and be a part of the fandom, not its enemy. I don't see any of you as my enemies. Not anymore, I don't. I just see you all as extremely talented people who like the same robots as I do. People whom I'd like to show my appreciation to. People whom, if someone outside of the fandom were to ever bash you or put you in a cringe compilation or something, I would stand up for. Even somebody like GK or Necrotize. I know we've had some serious beef, but if someone ever started cyberbullying him and harassing him with hate comments, I'd stand up for him. Even if he wouldn't do the same for me, I would still do it because I believe in standing up to bullies. I would do that for any of you because that's just the kind of person I am. I'd like an end to the drama, callouts, and shunning. We should unite as a fandom, not against anyone or anything, but just because Chipspeech is a small fandom. We need all the people we can get. I want to move on from this sad time in the past and work towards having a happy future and getting more people into the fandom and making the small community of ours thrive. And you know what? I think that the Chips would want us to get along if they were real. This drama did in fact keep some people out of the fandom. My real life best friend wanted to join the Chipspeech fandom at first because she loves old computers and voice synthesis and knew quite a bit about the technologies the Chips were based on. But the drama and the political arguments turned her away from the fandom, despite her agreeing with most of you politically and liking the character designs and tech aspects. Anyway, if you still don't like me and think I'm a terrible person, that's okay. I'm not going to hold that against you. My only request is that you tell as many of the other people in the fandom about this open letter as you can. I want everyone to know that the cruel, spiteful, vindictive bitch they rallied against no longer exists. Goodbye for now, guys, and whatever you choose to do, I sincerely hope you have a wonderful day and are happy.